Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. We're on to episode 77 now, and Ryan McGinley is bursting to answer the question.
What?
Yeah, but mate, I'm going to put in the original clip like before the show starts. Are you like knowing who it is?
Wishaw slander.
Wishaw slander. He was also slagging Wishaw, so no offence.
He called Wishaw glamorous. I mean, come on.
Listen, the G4 Claim studio is very glamorous. I'll have you know. Yes, exactly. Right. Anyway, 77. He's a shirt number.
77. You said the shirt number?
Oh, shut up. I hate you. That's
Dembele.
it. Right, well done.
Karamoko
Dembele. Well done. Well done. But he's not the only number 77 who's played for Celtic in our lifetime. There has been two, apparently. And I can't remember who the two were. I think it might have been the last episode, by the way. One of the guys was in the halftime quiz. Played for Celtic in 2010.
It's going to be the one Kieran had.
Yep.
Oliver something.
Oliver.
Capo.
I
remember watching him.
Oliver
Capo. Heard you talking about him. I actually can remember him playing for Celtic. Unfortunately. He was absolutely hungry.
It's mad though. Like, we were saying it in the last episode. He played like 6 games for France, and yet he played for Celtic. I think that's mad. Like, he could, obviously, we must have caught him in the rough patch his career. But Oliver Capo, Karamoko Dembele, there you go. That's your two 77s, and you can take a break from guessing for now, because the next time that you have a shirt number to guess, and I swear to God, if you shout out who it is, Ryan, I'm going to smack you. The next time you have a number to guess the shirt who wore it is at number 84. 84. So you're free for a while. You've got time to think about it.
Thanks,
if we keep going at the rate we're going, we'll be in episode 84 next year. So aye. Hello, welcome back to the Celtic the Thunder. It's good to be back. We took the week off last week. There wasn't much happening. There's pretty much still nothing happening, lads. It's a bit quiet now that the transfer window's shut. We're at that stage of the season now. There's no European football for Celtic. The league title is, in a very good position. We're still to fight for a treble, but in terms of your Monday to Friday business, no much else to talk about.
Don't know about you, it's killer. Not having a midweek game. I'm missing it badly. I'm going to look forward to that Hearts midweek game, because I think we'll get Hearts on the Wednesday then.
Is that the only midweek game we've got left this season?
I don't know if we'll have any after the split.
Oh, the split, but, of course, forgot about the split. Until that point, though, I think it might be one of the only ones.
I think because of the congested way the season's transpired, because of the World Cup and that, and fitting in all the fixtures, I became very used to it. So the fact when you get a free week, I'm like, oh, I can just go out and work now,
No,
can't be
I wouldn't like to be working in times like this, but it's brutal. I just love the thought of waking up on a Wednesday and going, it's a game on tonight. It's just not there now. Sad. To
be fair, I'm enjoying the Champions League and Europa League as well. So
that's all back. We record
the Premier League as well yesterday was on. So.
Our viewers are not here to talk about the Premier League, so we better get into business, because Celtic are back in action tomorrow when this podcast goes out on the Friday. We take on Aberdeen at Celtic Park in a game which, let's cut to the chase, Celtic should be winning. Callum, we had a wee conversation about it on the way here, and I said to you, I didn't even know who we're playing this weekend until I picked you up this morning. Or this evening, sorry. This morning. It was a long drive to
That's some carpool, that.
But genuinely, I forgot who we're playing altogether, but it's just one of those ones. Callum, get in there at 3 o'clock on Saturday, get the job done over the 90 minutes, up the road with 3 points. If we do what we do best, it's a game we should be winning.
Definitely, I think you need a win, especially before next weekend. It has to be a win. You can't be getting into it with even as much as a draw, because the players, the mindset slumps a wee bit, I think. But then again, as we've touched on, not having that midweek game, it's going to be a killer waiting the best part of the week, and you're not until the Sunday and all.
I didn't even consider bringing that point up before we started talking about Aberdeen there. The fact is, we actually have the cup final next weekend, which is insane, right? It's kind of crawled up upon us. So as Callum's kind of touched on, you want to go into that in the highest morale, the highest mood possible. Both players, coaches, and fans as well.
And injured players back, hopefully, from injury.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really know. Obviously, when this podcast is out,
that was nearly a spillage there. But you might play Segrist in goals next weekend.
Somebody's asked about Segrist in the question.
Oh, have they?
No, I think I'll stick with Hart for the moment. I'm trying to think what I was saying actually.
Well, we're about to talk about the cup final being next week, and then the mood going into it, and
yeah,
the importance of this weekend.
By the time this podcast is out, we'll have heard from Ange. We'll have heard what the situation is with KYOGO. Hopefully he's fit, but if not, we've got options. But you just want the strongest team possible going into that game. You want the 3 points, and then you've got the week to prepare and the week to be nervous about a bloody cup final.
Yep.
But you look forward to it at the same time. It's like a mixture.
Well, aye, and I'm sure next week when we're podcasting before it, we're doing a big preview, we'll get all the emotions untangled and we'll talk about it all. But obviously, KYOGO is the main talking point when it comes to the team here. We're not entirely certain if he'll be ready to play or not. What do you think going into it? If you were the manager and you had the option, if he can make it, would you take the chance on him? Because we spoke on the podcast a few weeks ago about the importance of consistency heading into this, and how Ange would have maybe liked to have played a very consistent side going towards the final. But we do have who's now scored his first goal. He's probably capable of starting against Aberdeen as well. What's your thoughts on just the whole KYOGO situation? Would you play him if he's fit?
This weekend, no. I would definitely be keeping him for next weekend, 100%. As you said, you've got Owen, you've also got Maeda there that can play in through the middle.
Aye.
You've got two more than capable players of it. There's no point in risking him for a game that, well, due respect, Aberdeen not been in also the best state of form over the last 2 months.
A season.
So,
Pretty much 2 years.
Fine well. You've got. It would be nice to see get that game time as well, especially leading up to the cup final. So if need be, he's get the 90 minutes in him for the game time.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on that? I seen you nodding away in agreement with Callum.
I think Big O needs the 90 minutes. I think it's time now. But if he's not fully fit and he can only maybe do 60 minutes, and if KYOGO's not ready, Maeda can definitely do a job there. I mean, he's their internationals. He is their striker for Japan. So,
done it in the World Cup.
I mean, and how long did it take him to score when he got moved into the centre? Was it 2-3 minutes when KYOGO got taken off?
Yep.
And Maeda, instant impact. He can do a job. He causes defenders nightmares regardless of where he plays. So I'm pretty settled with whoever we go with. We've got quality all over.
That's the good thing, obviously. I mean, obviously Giakoumakis leaving the club raised the question, right, okay, what happens next? We made the signing of and I guess this is what we've made the signing for, because yous have convinced me in the front. I was thinking to myself, if Ange comes out tomorrow and says he's fit, whatever, I'd probably just stick with him. But I think yous have convinced me on the front of maybe starting because when Giakoumakis was here, no one batted an eyelid if he started games. If nobody was like, KYOGO's at the team. So we should be probably more than willing to say, let's start the game. Because if it was Giakoumakis that was still here, we'd all be like, cool. But maybe it's just because we haven't quite seen enough of him yet. But I think more than enough people would be happy with him.
Is that nearly a month he's been signed now? I'm trying to think about training, if he's been training for a month.
He was right into it, wasn't he?
Aye, because Alistair Johnson had a month for training,
and
then he was thrust into the Celtic Rangers game at Ibrox. So if he's ready, I mean, he has been playing games, he's been up in his game time with every game that he's playing. So if he's ready, I'd fling him in, I think he looks the business. I've only seen wee things, but he's doing things that I'm really impressed, and at 21 years old, he's only going to improve as the years go by.
I missed his goal.
Really?
I missed it. I was in the pisser at the time.
Wow.
I was just sitting there, doing what you do. And all I heard was, I thought I was at the darts. Oh, I was sitting there. I was like, I was going on.
Michael Van Geer.
I was going on. I was like, darts on it there. Then it dawned on me. I was like, oh Christ, that must be the goal music they're using for though. So I missed it, and I feel sad because what if he goes on to have this Larsson-esque career, and then I did say I missed his first goal.
It took Larsson 3 games to score his first goal.
Right.
Was that O's third appearance? Not saying anything.
Aye, well, I've got to say though, I don't like to jump to conclusions or nothing, but
it's going to be better. I loved his celebration. I don't know about you.
No seen it.
No, have you not watched the video back?
No.
Brown right up to the corner flag, but he's just
No, I have seen it. Aye, I have
the
seen it.
swagger he's got. It's as if I put out a tweet saying there's no case of imposter syndrome here. He looks like he's ready to play for Celtic. He just looks like he's got the boys to play for Celtic, which is great.
Well, that's the thing, Callum. Every signing that we've made so far under Ange, including now, you could say, and I'm not going to stretch it as far as maybe Kobayashi and Iwata yet, because they've had very limited minutes. But everybody else, it does seem as though they've been. We talked about how long he's been training. He was right into Lennoxtown. I think he signed on something like the Friday, and then he was on Lennoxtown the Monday. You know, it seems like every player we sign, Callum, is ready, and that's why I think maybe will be choking to start a game like this on Saturday.
Definitely. I think obviously when we seen like KYOGO going down injured that week, initially I thought, will they bring him on? But I thought, do you give him that much of game time if he's still getting up to match fitness? But I think, as Ryan touched on, see if he's got like up to 60 minutes in him, more than perfect, especially for the likes of the cup final next week, should he come on in the second half, and if it was to go the full 120. It's nice to know. Obviously, touching it doesn't go to that.
I mean,
those inhalers will be coming out again.
But I know, I think that was one thing I was actually quite glad with from Wednesday. That's way behind me, Jesus.
Can you hear him the whole show? I hope so.
But I know, I think that's one thing I was really glad with, the fact we announced him, it was signed, and straight away you were seeing photos of him in training. See, none of this stuff, it's I need to say bye to this family and this and this, and it just lingers on. You're here to play football, we pay your wages, get it here.
It's a very short career, you've got to make the most of it while you can. There's time for goodbyes later on, isn't there?
He'd been desperate for the move for months, to be fair. He was desperate for it. I think that's what's really endeared himself to the fans. We've all heard how much he wanted this move. It's reaffirming, I would say. I like it.
Well, hopefully we see a bit of him at least on Saturday. We await obviously Ange to speak to us in the press conference, and well, by the time this is out, he probably has. But let us know in the comments of the video if KYOGO is fit. Do you take the chance, or do you rest him in preparation for that cup final next week? We'll come back to the team selection after we've spoke a bit more about the opposition and the game. Celtic are unbeaten in 19 games against Aberdeen in all competitions since May 2018. 16 wins and 3 draws. Last day of the season. Aberdeen have lost each of their last 5 league visits to Celtic Park. And do you know, here's an interesting stat. Jota has scored 30% of his league goals against Aberdeen.
I'm really not surprised at that.
30%.
He scores every time he
5 out of 17 he's scored against Aberdeen since joining last season. So, yeah, I mean, the stats speak for themselves. In the last 10 games, we've won 8, we've scored 18, we've kept 5 clean sheets. We're pretty darn good against Aberdeen, even though it seems to be one of those games we always say it can be a banana peel, but I feel like we just get the job done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It seems as if it's the same as like Rangers with Hibs. You always think it's going to be a really close game between the two, and it never seems to work out that way. But I always like playing against Aberdeen, because regardless of the record, it always seems as if it's one of the bigger games in the calendar. But that's one of the ones you sort of circle, whether we play at Celtic Park, Pittodrie, or at Hampden, as we've met them in all of those sort of venues. It's one that I really look forward to, regardless of the form that they're in, regardless of the players that they've got on the pitch. It should be a really good game, and it's one of those games that I don't think Aberdeen will sit back. I think they'll go for it as well, which should work to our advantage.
We're quite lucky, Callum, in the sense that, well, I think Celtic should be getting the job done regardless, but we're quite lucky in the sense that they've still not appointed a permanent manager. Aberdeen, they're still in this kind of flux of trying to decide what they're doing. Barry Robson's still taking charge, so we've not exactly got the risk of Newman, unless they come out tomorrow and say, oh, here's Sven-Goran Eriksson and he's taking charge on Saturday. Just chose a random name. But realistically, they'll not have anybody in for Saturday, so there's no real manager bounce ready to come in and affect the game there. But, you know, they seem to be a club in state, and Celtic shouldn't bother either way, really.
No, I mean, I think I can see Aberdeen.
That's where
much
they're going.
Doing what we've seen Motherwell doing. If Robson either I don't expect him to tear us out this weekend, but over the next couple of weeks, if he's aimed to get a couple of draws and wins, can very much see him saying, just give him the job again. I think it'd be very poor if they were to do it. The way they've been all season's been very poor, so I'd be baffled if they're even any form of a challenge to it.
I mean, the guys to look out for is, and if they're fit, that is, I'm presuming they're fit. Miofsky, Duke. That's about it. You know, I don't really.
There's a boy on loan for Liverpool. He was alright a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name. I know who you're talking about.
Not Coulson, no. Clarkson.
Is it Coulson?
Clarkson rings a bell.
Is it?
Maybe. He looked decent, obviously, for seeing him, but nah, other than that, it's not really any major threats as far as I can think.
No, that's the thing about Aberdeen, that they've tried to start these projects, both under Stephen Glass, then under Jim Goodwin. They've ditched them halfway through. You know, they're not letting themselves get in a position. You know, you go back 2016, 2017 when McInnes was still in charge. Granted, we were still beating them, but you know, there was plenty of players that could have caused damage. You know, there's plenty of players in the team. You go, he's a good player. He might hurt, but I just don't look at Aberdeen and see that at the minute.
No, I think they're definitely one of the poorer Aberdeen sides we've seen in the past 10 or so years, especially when they were sort of semi-challenging for the league. When Rangers, obviously. What was that, 11 years ago? What happened now? We all know what happened.
Anniversary.
Yeah.
This is the anniversary week, isn't it? Actually,
Happy Valentine's Day. But they're not at their strongest. I'm just having a wee look at their team just now. It's Leighton Clarkson that's on loan from Liverpool. Got a couple of loans. They've got tons of loans, actually. I didn't know you could get as many.
Because I've got the boy for Blackburn, Martindale, is it? He came in, He came in on deadline day or something like that. Aye. They've
got Gorter, who's on loan from Ajax, a goalkeeper.
Oh, that's right. Because Riss was injured very late in the month.
If you know anything about Dutch goalkeepers, they can't make a decent one at all. So
respect on Edwin van der Sar, please.
Aye, I'm talking about in the last 50 years. 20, you know.
What about Jasper Sillerson? I liked him. I liked Sillerson. I thought he was a good keeper. Yeah, I wanted him at United after the 2014 World Cup, I must say.
It says more about Man United.
Right, fuck off, right. Right, well, I guess we can kind of...
Can he play Scales as well? So
that's right, can he play Scales? I mean, Scales has been... Scales has had a really weird season, hasn't he? Because I feel like the opening post of the season, they were all like, oh, brilliant.
Sign him up.
Oh, sign him up.
2 games.
And now he's rank rotten.
Struggles to stay on the park.
Exactly.
It's kind of like us with Jens in a way, because everybody was like, sign Jens up. Turns out it was just a stopgap till we got Kobayashi.
Just before we get on to team selection and score predictions, who do we think will get the Aberdeen job? Do you think there's anybody that stands out? I mean, Ian Holloway's on his way to Motherwell, but it looks of things.
Have you seen the clip that's came out about him talking about Van Veen?
No, but Cal was talking to me about it though.
I'm desperate for him to take that job. You need characters in the game. That's what elevates Scottish football, I think. This is turning into a TSF. It's the sort of character that elevates football. His interviews would be unmissable.
I mean, who is the favourite now for the Aberdeen?
I just think we'd go in a merry-go-round. I don't think Jack Ross is in any position to get it.
Gordon Strachan's 64. 60. Where's that came from? Chris Wilder 81, but he ruled himself out yet, didn't he? McInnes 61.
I wouldn't be surprised with Lennon, I'll be honest.
It should be Lenny. I've said, unless this brings it back to talking about Celtic a wee bit, I don't think that the Aberdeen supporters or anybody else really they shouldn't turn their nose up at Neil. Now, I know that this podcast was famous for slagging fuck out Neil, right?
So we got most of us.
It was, right? But in all seriousness, if they want somebody to come in and steady the ship and try and guide them to a positive position to end the season in, it's probably the best option to be Neil Lennon. And I know I gave him Doug's abuse, but there's a difference between managing Celtic and Aberdeen, and that's just honest.
Still think Aberdeen's a big job.
That is.
Whoever comes in, it's still a very attractive sort of prospect.
Dwight York, I forgot he was throwing his hat in the ring, and
he talks utter nonsense, doesn't he, all the time? Where is he just now? Is he in Australia somewhere?
Don't have
MacArthur
a clue.
FC or something?
Not a clue, mate. Right, if you want to put your money on anybody though, who's you saying? Who's getting the Aberdeen job?
Lennon in the summer.
Lennon in the summer, Cal.
I think Lennon in the summer's a good shout. See if you get to Robson, just do the 6 months out, see out the season, and then
Robson could maybe take a step back and become the assistant manager.
Could be I'm going to go for Mark McGee. There's my...
He's retired.
Retired. Retired my arse. Listen,
Is he retired in the way that Neil
Warnock's
Warnock's retired? One more job, Gab.
Right, okay, team selection time. Let's get back into talking about our team. Celtic's team selection for tomorrow. We'll start for the back. Joe Hart in goals, obviously.
Yep.
Back four, does it pick itself again?
Pretty much.
Yep. So what
It
about Senior what were you going to say, Cam?
What part of me would like to see maybe a wee bit of rotation just to
Just for
mix
the
it
final?
up a bit. Aye, just obviously keep fresh legs in that for it. I wouldn't mind seeing Kobayashi back in, but at the same time I'm unhappy with it.
Do you think it will be him or think you stick with Stafford?
No, but I would like it to be.
Okay,
Aye.
right, fair enough.
I don't think you need to do as much rotation because you've got a week before the final.
That's the good thing, I suppose. There's no midweek
If there was a
in that
midweek game,
regard.
then I would absolutely take Kobayashi.
Aye.
And I think long term he will be one of the options at centre half.
Yeah.
But right now I'd put Stafford.
I mean, just on the topic of Kobayashi, John Kennedy was full of praise for Kobayashi. The last time he spoke, he was saying that he's been good coming in, and it said he's contributed well. And he's here obviously if we do need the rotation sort of thing. So John Kennedy obviously took the press conference last week. I'd imagine we'll see Ange back this week. But so that was the back four. Midfield three.
This is going to be controversial.
You dropping Aaron?
Yeah, I'm putting O'Reilly back in.
Okay. Reason?
I thought O'Reilly was tremendous when he came on. See that 20-25 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I thought him and Hatate, we haven't really spoken about the St Mirren game as much, but that 20 minutes from Hatate was just genius. Talk about upping the tempo, because I think certain players didn't take their opportunity last week when they were given a start. Turnbull, I don't think he played well at all. And then Hatate came on and showed why he is the number one pick in midfield, or one of the number one picks. So I'd put Hatate, well obviously McGregor, Hatate and O'Reilly.
Okay. I think we're all presuming that Turnbull won't be back in the team this week to start, but what would you go with, Cam? Do you agree with Ryan, or do you keep Moy?
The exact same, I think.
Same.
I think it all comes into especially Angie's comments just saying he's not here to keep players happy. He's like, what was it, take them tea and take their wife's flowers. Brilliant. But again, that's not his job to keep players happy.
Yeah.
And he said again, if you're not happy, you know what the door is.
Exactly.
That's what I said, especially as Ryan touched on there when O'Reilly came on, especially since he's getting that goal now as well.
Aye.
It's a weight off his shoulders.
I'm glad he's got that.
Seen it in the shoulders when he scored.
I
He was
know.
like,
Oh, that's the way away.
What was he mounted to? Sound like, thank fuck.
I wonder how telling this weekend will be in regards to who starts the midfield next week. You know, if this is like the game that goes right, it'll be Moy, it'll be O'Reilly, because that's a big it's a conversation. So we'll come on to that next week. But I wonder how telling it'll be. And then front three, Jota's got to start with that record.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he's got to start. He loves a game against Aberdeen. So
I think the only position up for dispute at the moment is the striker,
yeah,
and that's only because KYOGO's injured. Because I think Maeda just walks into the team. I thought he was one of the best players against St Mirren. I think the improvements that he's shown since he's came back from the World Cup have been extraordinary. I think he looks twice the player.
no, there's no denying. I done my tier list video yesterday, and that's what I was saying. The exact same stuff. Like he's restored. Sorry, he's not restored. He's repaid the faith that Ange kept in him, because so many fans were like, "No."
Got to remember after that Shakhtar Donetsk game at home,
Yeah.
a lot of people were calling saying this guy isn't good enough. I don't know what I said about it. But
I remember standing by him, but I did understand the frustrations. Certainly, I was like, okay, I don't mind him maybe seeing time on the bench, bringing him on, getting back to form, sort of thing. But I certainly wasn't. People weren't rid of him altogether. And I was like, Christ, he's been here. It was that time we played that game. He was only here about 8 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man, calm down.
And there's been talk that there's been one-on-one sessions with Harry Kewell. Like he's obviously wanting to improve his game, and it's shown. Both the confidence from coming back from the World Cup, playing so well, and maybe those one-on-one sessions there's definitely an improvement in him, and it's great to see. His numbers are a lot better than what they were at the start of the season as well. So
Aye.
it's good news for us because it means that he's playing well.
Yeah, Callum, are you going with the same front three, or would you make a change? Would you obviously Abada, Hacks is back. We've spoke about in the KYOGO situation. What's your front three?
I think Jota made it all.
Right, okay. So
going
are we going for O then? It's the Sellik defender
this is
officially
that big
saying
O.
the big O.
Big O.
Oh yeah, by the way, I love that. My dad love that. That's Roy Orbison's nickname, the big O. I'm going to coin that. I'm going to be Photoshop fucking Owen to Roy Orbison playing his guitar. Brilliant.
I've noticed a couple of people calling him Big O. I like that. That'll stick.
I've got to tell my dad that, man. He'll love it. It was Roy Orbison night last week on BBC 2. It was Roy Orbison all night. It was like 6 hours of straight Roy Orbison programmes. He was on his element. I was up the stair and I thought my dad was like on the phone. He was just singing. Right, whole night, man. Brilliant. Right, okay, score predictions to finish us off. Callum, I'll start with you on the left.
4-0.
Oh, big 4.
3-0.
3-0. I am going to go for 3-0 as well. Not to copy your rhyme, but I do think it'll be 3-0. Okay, good score predictions. That's everything. Anything that any of the two of you want to throw in that I may have missed for the Aberdeen game?
Not that come to mind.
Yeah.
No, in a pretty good place.
Yep. As always, should be. We'll come on to some comments that might suggest that there's a team just as good as us in the league after the half-time quiz. You see you shaking your head already. Stay around if you're a Rangers fan and you're watching. I'm sure you'll have our conversation.
Let's get that boy in the gym, Mike McKenzie was saying.
Oh, that's
The
right.
PT who walked in after it was going to come up and ask if we wanted sessions. I'm like, fuck off, man. Just go away. And then he kept asking me up, man, did you do Celtic fun? And I was like, I think it was something else. Then it was on the screen. Lovely guy.
Lovely. I'll shout out to him. Hope we pump you next week. But right, let's get on to the half-time quiz. Today it is obviously we've got different variations now. It's the one where you work together. So there you go. You get to be a cute wee team.
This is Morrison's back. This is throwing it back, mate.
Last time I complained that I wasn't involved in the title of the because he called it like they gave us Craig McGinley and Kieran Oltay, but he's changed it to Ryan gave us Craig McGinley and Kieran Oltay. So
Seems as if you made us.
I buffed you.
Probably did. I feel this podcast, but you know.
Oh, listen, don't part me. Right, so there's me in the name now. Today we're going to be playing that, which is essentially I give you clues, and then you know. Well, actually, no, you don't work like every day. I'm talking shite. Is it not like you get frozen out? That's it. It is.
But it was supposed to be that, and then the last time we played it, we ended up working together.
Right, okay. Well, we're going back to the old-fashioned way. You're fucking fighting each other. I went blood on the table and everything.
Wow.
So, are you ready? We've got the player for this week. So, as always, I'll read a clue at a time. You can hazard a guess, but if you get it wrong, you're frozen out until you're allowed back in.
Tell myself I'm not
jumping in.
The first clue.
You're not jumping in.
That last time.
Right, well, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so I have been managed by Chris Wilder, Mick McCarthy, and Rory Delap. I didn't even know Rory Delap was a manager.
No.
At some point.
I thought he would just do the throw-ins.
Exactly. So I've been managed by Chris Wilder, Rory Delap, and Mick McCarthy. There's your first clue. You don't need to jump in, obviously, but I'll give you a wee minute to think. Get the brain stirring. Any thoughts on the teams and who they could be?
Thinking Championship.
That has to be sure.
I'm thinking Sheffield United. He was there for ages.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's none of these what hazard, I guess, after the first clue. Okay, right. Second clue. I have played with Martin Waghorn, Lyndon Gooch, and Callum McGregor. There you go.
Lyndon Gooch. Oh, we're working together again. I'm same man. Gooch played for Sunderland, so
far.
Who was the three players again?
So the three managers were Chris Wilder, Rory Delap, and Mick McCarthy, and the three players were Callum McGregor, Martin Waghorn, and Lyndon Gooch.
Waghorn. Derby. Rangers.
That's the second of your 5 clues.
Oh, we need another one, I think.
Aye.
You need another one?
Yeah.
Okay. I've only won 2 major honours in my career, both in Scotland.
This is a Celtic player, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not going to be asking you for who Roberto Baggio is, you know.
Oh, come on. What a player.
So, there you go. To summarise, managed by Wilder, Delap, McCarthy, played with Waghorn, McGregor and Gooch, and he's won 2 major honours in his career, both in Scotland.
I really like a bit of pen and paper.
See, I'm going to at some point I need to get an actual league table, and then make it that you get more points for a game like this. So if you answer early and you get it right, you actually get a reward. You get 5 points, sort of thing.
I don't know about you, but I need another one.
You need another one.
Yeah,
okay. You're on to your 4th of your 5th clue, or your 5 clues. Sorry. I have currently declared for a country at international where I have never played a domestic league game. So he's never played a domestic game of football in the country, the international country that he plays for. This is a tricky one. It should be as plain as
So he's a current player then, I guess.
I'm saying nothing.
So if he's declared, then he will be. Aye.
It should be as plain as the nose on your face. But if it's not, then, you know, there is only one more clue, and the last clue
Just give us
will
it.
definitely give it away.
Aye.
You'll get it with the last clue. So if you want to hazard a guess and try and steal it, don't you cheat.
I'm not. I wasn't looking. I was just stressing.
I can actually, I feel like a good amount of you back home will be getting this. I feel like there's a good amount who'll have it by now. I feel like that one there would have gave it. I'll give you 5 seconds.
A country that he's never played a game in.
Aye. 5, 4, 3,
No, I'm not going to get this.
2, 1. Right, your last clue. And I feel like the both of you should get it as soon as I say
That's
it.
pressure.
That's still annoying me for the last one. But
I have scored a Glasgow Derby winner.
and Cham?
Oh no, it's no Cham, it's no Cham, it's no Cham. Aye, good. It's, do you know what?
That's
Not a
a
bad
guess.
guess.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
not a bad guess. Not a bad guess.
Down south.
Aye, but you're frozen out, Cam. So McGinley, you've got a chance to steal it. Well, your one and only guess that I'm giving you.
If I can even think of a player, to be
Aye,
honest.
I feel like I should rerun it to give you all the clues.
I do that.
Right,
and
okay.
give Callum another chance.
Okay, I'll let you back. Okay, Ryan's letting you back in. You've got a big chance here.
Sure enough.
I have been managed by Chris Wilder, Rory Delap, and Mick McCarthy. I have played with Martin Waghorn, Callum McGregor, and Lyndon Gooch. I have only won major honours in Scotland. I currently have declared for a country at international level where I have never played a domestic league game, and I have scored a Glasgow Derby winner. Who am I?
I'm trying to go through every single player that's scored against Rangers. That is assuming the Glasgow Derby is Celtic
It's Celtic and Rangers. It's Celtic Rangers. It's absolutely.
That's not good enough. Oh God.
I'm going to put on, in my head, I'm putting on the countdown clock, and then I'm just going to ask you for a player each. So everybody at home shouting at you, I can feel it. I feel like this should be easy. I don't know if I'd get it. It's obviously very easy to say that when you know the answer.
Glasgow Derby.
10, 9. You don't need to shout it, just think. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is a shocker.
1.
I can't even think.
Callum, I guess. Any name you like. Doesn't matter.
Dale and Cham's the only thing that came to mind, thinking down south, but wouldn't be.
Pick a player, any player. As daft as you like. Oh, we've added another 10 seconds on here magically.
No, it's just,
We've got a show to move along.
I don't know.
Yeah, not even a name. Not even a name. McGinley.
Nah, I'm not getting anything. Sorry.
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing.
Who am I? I'm Cameron Carter Vickers.
Oh my
There
God.
you go. Cameron Carter Vickers. It should be as plain as the... I can't believe none of you have got that.
Oh,
These want your logic broke down for all the clues.
That is a shocker.
Man,
Oh my God.
it's a
that's
stinker.
bad.
I thought you had it. I see when you lit up. I was like, he's got it. I was like, I know he's got it. And then you said Cham.
because I thought it changed nation.
But it's not a bad guess at all. Right, so
Because he did scoring. He scored that 1-0
Aye.
game.
that is a
That's
really
fine.
good guess. Really good guess. But of course, and Cham won more than 2 honours. He was here for what?
Fuck, so he did. I
Double,
didn't even
treble,
think of it. I forgot all about that
Probably,
player.
aye.
So he was managed by Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. He was managed by Rory Delap when he was Stoke caretaker manager, and he was managed by Mick McCarthy at Ipswich. He played with Martin Waghorn at Ipswich. He played with Callum McGregor at Celtic, and Lyndon Gooch plays for the US men's national team.
So he does.
So he's
does.
obviously won the Premiership and the Scottish Cup
Aye.
with Celtic, and the US, and he's winner at Ibrox only last year.
See, because we've moved away from a lot of like championship players, it was difficult to get back into that. Then you realise
I can't believe he's never
because
got
it's
that one.
right in front of you.
Aye.
I'll
That's a
tell you
shocker.
what, Kieran, as always, thank you. You've gave them a belter this week.
Aye, has indeed.
He gave you an
He's got a good
absolute
question
belter.
in the Twitter questions.
Oh,
as well.
has he? Good. He's got I think we've got a quiz to end the show off as well, so we'll try and patrol through
That
very...
must have been really enjoyable listening to people who are listening to it on Spotify.
I know, aye.
There's just
There was
dead
such shit.
silence between me and you.
They were driving to work. Shut camera, fingers for fuck's sake. Right, okay, let's move on to the next topic. A couple of topics we're going to try and fly through. Michael Beale wagging his lips today, saying there's a low probability of Rangers winning the league, but more in relation to Michael Beale, David Martindale has been out. He's been giving it big licks, saying that Rangers are just as good as Celtic, and Michael Beale has levelled up. We're apparently at the same level now. Cam, we were speaking about it very briefly in the way here in the car. I understand that since Beale has came in, there has been an equal record between both sides. You know, we've both won all of our games, bar the draw that we drew with each other. But surely to Christ, David Martindale doesn't actually watch both of these sides and think that Rangers are back on level with Celtic.
Nah, I think somebody needs to tell me Mini-Me to shut up and go back to his box. That's outrageous. Especially the stat, it was 28 goals Rangers have scored, conceded 16 since Beale came in. Since then as well, we've scored 40 and conceded 6. We've only, I think, furthered the gap, as Ryan touched on, like, right before we started recording, with a goal difference. I don't get where he's pulling this from.
Ryan, you were shaking your head when I brought it up before the quiz.
Got to say, I've watched quite a couple of their games. Yes, they're winning games, but they're not entirely convincing when they're winning games.
It's a scary thing to say ahead of a cup final, but it is true. Like,
calling it as it is
if they were to beat us, fair enough, but they haven't been convincing.
The only time that they could have changed that, they bottled it because KYOGO scored in the 88th minute.
Yep.
Every other time Celtic have won, and Rangers have they've struggled to win a couple of games. I mean, you look at that Aberdeen one, that was last gasp. I'm trying to think of other games. Hibs was a nightmare as well. I remember, was that his first game?
That's right, aye. Yep.
That was right after the World Cup, I'm sure.
Even a couple of games at home, they haven't been great. They've played quite poorly. They've managed the wins, which is ultimately what matters. But
it is, yeah, and they're winning games. That's something they weren't doing under Giovanni van Bronckhorst.
Yep.
Yes, Beale has improved them, but I still think there's a seismic gap between the two sides in terms of the way that we play. And I'd take us against them any day of the week. If I've always said that if Celtic turn up and play the way that Ange Postecoglou wants them to play, we'll beat them.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, we will beat them. Probably playing against the referee in some of these games. It seems as if VAR's the leveller in these games, but if you're good enough, that won't matter.
Well, I think we've covered all grounds, really. It was a short topic. I don't want to dwell too much on David Martindale. We're not playing...
Some of the takes on Twitter.
Ridiculous, you see some things and it makes you just... I'm like, do we really need to run back the story of this season so far? We're 9 points clear. Like, and I understand that all was built from the old manager, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. But it doesn't take away from the fact how good a side and how better a side Celtic are. It doesn't take away from it at all. There's a reason we beat them 4-0 at the start of the season.
Still the same players as well.
No, it's still the same players. Yeah.
Those players didn't turn up for their former manager, now they play for their new manager. Don't know what that says about them.
Yeah.
I think they've only got 2 signings, Raskin and Cantwell. I mean, you know,
we'll see come next week,
aye.
I suppose. Obviously, that's the scarier thought, isn't it? Like losing that
You've
game.
got to be confident.
I am confident. I know we'll come on to it next week, but I am confident. Like, if I sit here right now and ask you for a short answer, are you confident?
Yeah.
You can't confident, Cam?
Fairly.
I mean, I'm not like at the point where I'm like, oh, we're pumping 5-0, but you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's going to be a good game, but
I think it will be an entertaining game. I think it will be as heart-stopping as that is. Have we all got tickets?
yeah.
Working.
Oh, you're working. That's
Passing
right.
a ticket on to Ian.
Oh, is Ian going?
Aye, so he'll be sitting up with the Celtic workers. However, I will be enjoying the free bar after it.
Oh, lucky bastard.
Nice.
Perks.
That is indeed
Perks
to the job.
I'll be there as well. Right, okay, that's that. And then I think there's only a couple of wee housekeeping sort of things. Celtic are apparently planning a Japanese tour for the end of the season, which includes maybe the likes of Manchester City. God knows what position they'll be in come the summer.
Champions.
Manchester, what'd you say?
Champions.
Well, yes, but I mean,
They won the league last night.
pretty
much.
That's not what I mean. I just
Financial fair
yes,
play.
aye, of course. Like, I know they're going to be champions, right? I just mean in terms of who knows, maybe they'll win the championship next season.
You know I'm a Pep fanboy.
Fuck off. Man City, PSG, and Bayern Munich have been name dropped as this plan has apparently been rumoured. We've known about this for a while. It's not the first time we spoke about it. Obviously, following on from the success of the Sydney Super Cup in November. But it's been reported that could be the case. Of course, Celtic now have 6 Japanese players on their books.
6,
And
5
and 1 out loan.
and 7 Asian players all in.
7 Asian players all in. So, you obviously it's a big occasion for the fans in Japan who could potentially get to go and see some of these heroes. It'd be good, Ryan. I would like it. I enjoyed the kind of novelty of the Sydney Super Cup, and I think that Japan could be even better, especially if it's sides like I'm not expecting Bayern Munich to be playing their best 11, but like it's still good.
I don't know about the finances involved, but I'd actually quite like to go.
I was thinking that myself. I'd love to. I simply can't. But I would actually love to go.
I'd love to go to Japan. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go, and even more so now. Obviously, we've got the links with Yokohama, and we get Vissel Kobe players. Ange obviously managed there. Links in the past with Nakamura, and all the stuff that goes on over there, like Mario Kart in real life. I want to go in that.
Tom and Mario, I can't wait for the film.
Looks good, doesn't it?
It looks class, mate.
I'm not sure about Chris Pratt, but everything else looks good.
But
Japan, I'd love to go.
See, I've never been keen up until the last year or two about going to Japan. I've always thought to myself it's just culturally too different for me, in the sense that like the food and I just thought I'm more of I like Europe. I like Europe. I'm comfortable with the culture sort of thing. Yeah, but in the last couple of years I've really warmed to the idea, and that's probably because of all the guys coming over and playing.
And
for
how well
Celtic.
they've acclimatised so quickly as well. I mean,
I feel sorry for them having to deal with fucking fry-ups and chippies, but I mean, they seem to be doing all right. So,
I mean, just a wee side note: Hatate's English in that reading out the Valentine's Day.
I didn't watch it.
I put up a wee video as well of it. It was just that in isolation. He's English, he's spot on. It just goes to show how hard he's working off the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been talk, I've heard it from a couple of people, that he's constantly in with the analysts after every single game to see how he can improve his game. He's just a model player, isn't he?
Aye. Cal, if you had the money, would you take your Sellik to Japan for the tour?
Oh, 100%. I mean, why not?
Aye.
I think it's one of those things, once in a lifetime, essentially. But
Are you saying you're going to go here? Or like,
see what my summer plans are next year.
Jesus.
See if Celtic want to bump me up a bit now.
I'd love that.
I'd love to. It would be class.
Phenomenal.
It would be. It'd be cool though, because these are sides that we do now see in the Champions League if we're in there. So, but it's nice to get the games in.
I would hope that one of the games would be against Yokohama F. Marinos. That'd be a good sort of fit to play. It'd be Ange v Kevin Muscat as well. Obviously Ange, and he's done a really good job at Yokohama. They won the league, they get the title back from Kawasaki, so he's done a good job. Remember when people were worried that he was going to be the assistant manager?
Nah, that feels like an eternity ago now.
That was when we were Ange skeptics, but we didn't really know. I think a large part of that time was because we were so like engrossed in the whole Eddie Howe thing.
Yeah.
We were so disappointed that there was maybe even better on the horizon. Turns out there was in Ange, but that's only 18 months ago. That's crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Having lots of fun. Ange Ball.
Yes, look at me. Funned out. Woohoo.
He needs a midweek game.
Exactly. Right, well, I actually do think that's basically everything. In terms of the main talking points, we could probably move on to the Twitter questions now. Because, well, nothing else really to talk about. While I get up the questions, anything you want to bring up at all? Anything?
Just about anything.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
could be anything.
That boy I've seen it was in a show, Peller, Hamish. Lovely man.
There you go. Shout out to Hamish. No Hamish Carlton. Shout out to Hamish
Seems like all
Carlton.
Hamish is a sound button.
Shout out to Hamish as well. He's released his new book, hasn't he?
Has indeed.
Is it released now?
I don't know if it's released. I just know he's.
When I posted it to Twitter and that, it's assumed it was
I'm
released.
definitely getting a copy of that.
I will when I have the money, Hamish. If you're listening, I know you listen from time to time. If I have the money,
England 50 copy.
I say next time we record the giver. He brought one of these books. Aye, save me 20 quid. Robin bastard.
Signed copy?
Signed
Brilliant.
copy. Signed by the author. I always love it. If you ever go into bookshops, I don't. But I mean, like, I was in one recently because I got Waterstones. I went to Waterstones to get my dad Michael O'Neill, Martin O'Neill, fucking Michael O'Neill.
Former Stoke,
So,
Northern
I
Ireland.
went to get my dad a Martin O'Neill autobiography. Says it's cracking, by the way. I might get a read myself. I don't do a lot of reading, but I might get a read. But I went in to get him it for his birthday last month, and I walked in, and at the front of the store they had their special offers, and there's just random books. It's like signed edition. I'm like, who the fuck knows who this cunt is? Like, do you really care if this is signed or no? I'm like, who's this? I'm like, it's why they just generic crime books. I'm like, it's that big a deal. I don't know. Maybe I've just offended every single book enthusiast out there, but aye.
In terms of, I'm trying to think, stuff I've watched, loving The Last of Us, I'll be honest.
I started that, yeah.
I'm avoiding it until every episode's out and then just binging through them. That's a 15-year sitting Twitter.
I'm going to watch the 5th episode tonight because I stayed up for hours waiting for it to come on Sky Go and it never came on, and then I just went to sleep and I've just not went back to it.
Aye.
But the first 4 or 5 episodes have been phenomenal. I mean, Pedro Pascal, he can do no wrong.
He's a man of many talents.
You'll be excited for Drive to Survive coming back.
Oh, we're nearly there, boys.
I'm looking forward to the golf version of that.
I started it yesterday.
Is it out?
Oh, it's out.
I need to watch that.
Was it yesterday it came out?
Yesterday, the day before.
I watched the first episode. The first episode's about Spieth and what's his name? The other American boy, his pal, Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas.
Is it?
Aye, it's about him and Spieth. It's about they two. I don't know if there's any golf listeners, but anyway, let's get into the Twitter questions because we probably have a lot of random shit to talk about anyway. As we go into this, Aaron is in, and he says, "Who would be your ideal Celtic I'm a Celebrity cast?" Now, going through a full cast would be lengthy, but just write off some names of who you. I mean, my go-to is Lenny. I'd love to see Lenny in the junk. Gravison,
100% Gravison.
He'd be a good laugh. I feel like he would just be taking like shites in the middle of the woods, you know, like
right in Lenny's head.
Get off me.
He'd probably be the one that would scrap with Ant and Deck if they were talking to him during the trial. Don't shout at the trialist.
Who would you go for, Ryan? Who would you like to see in the jungle?
Take him out his comfort zone, get Brendan Rodgers in there. Could you imagine the anecdotes that would come out of him?
You know, I came to the jungle and Danny McGrain was standing there.
I talk about Sterling being there from the first plane back. I want to be on the last plane back.
Danny McGrain was standing there with his spear and his jungle clothes. He said, "I don't know if you want me, Brendan, as long as I'm here."
I'm trying to think who else I'd quite like. We've had a few characters in the team, man.
I think as well.
I think Joe Hart will end up on that.
I can see him on that. I really could see him on that one day. I
think as a double act, you need to get Johnson and Taylor. Aye. The two of them have a wee bit of a bromance going on, and I like it.
It's like Tierney and Roberts rekindled.
Did you see Alistair Johnson's Instagram today?
No.
He was taking a video. Well, he's in his car. Don't want to be a grass. He's taking a video while he's in his car, but I think the car was stopped. So
I'd like to hope so.
I think it was up near Lennoxtown. Because a guy was basically throttling a sheep that had escaped from the farm, taking it back.
Right, I'll ask one question then. We've all gave one each. Who would be king of the jungle though? Or queen?
Ange.
He
never stops.
And it's in Australia.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know where the Australians go for their version?
Do they not go to hold on, don't tell me. I'm sure I've, because I know they're doing the South Africa special, aren't they, with like all the best, like, or did they do that already?
I'm not sure.
And they're doing like the all-time greats that have been on it, but they're doing it in South Africa. But Australia, do they not go to, is it not somewhere pure weird like Germany or something like that? Where is it?
Kenya.
Is it Kenya they go to? Wow. I don't know what jungles in Germany. I don't know why I suggested it. But I thought it was just like a Black Forest or something.
Up at the Westfalen Stadium.
Something like that. Right, okay, so I'm just king of the jungle. Well done. Right, this is a question you brought up, Callum. Good question from Cal. Shout out to him, as always. If it goes to penalties next week, who's the 5 takers? I've went Moy first, followed by me, you and Kieran. That's the 5 there, because we're hitting better penalties in that team.
Oh, I thought you were meaning like Celtic players.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, sleep deprivation is a real thing.
That's what I meant. I'm shite at penalties, mate, if you don't notice this. I think Moy's first up.
Hatate, because he scored recently.
So Moy, Hatate.
In fact, that's when I was raging with seeing me get the penalty. I was actually screaming, get the body O, let him get his goal.
Me too.
Would you stick O on one?
Yeah.
If he's on, aye.
So we've got O, Hatate, Moy, McGregor. He missed his last one.
He's a captain.
Aye.
Jota. Or Abada.
Yeah, okay.
Or Haxa if he's
If Haxa's on, I like
Haxa. Right.
I want to see more of Haxa, but it's an odd one.
Aye, we'll come on to it. We'll do a whole podcast about it, my band. No, pardon me.
Played well in your final. today.
I did. Right. Kieran, the quiz master, he says, with SPFL reconstruction and discussion across social media the past week or so, what 3 immediate changes would you make to progress Scottish football? Anything? Well, I'd allow drinking. Now that Sturgeon's away, bring it back. No, what 3...
See that as if it's Sturgeon that took it away.
I know. She
She's been in that job a while.
Is that 1980? Fucking hell, what time she stood down? I was going to say, any changes that come to mind? Would you extend the league?
Absolutely.
See, I've always been on the side of that, but recently I've been convinced. Recently. I think there is a genuine argument, and I've seen somebody put this on Twitter, and then a couple of people have seen back it as well. There's every chance that would actually regress our league.
Really?
You think about it. Why does this league get its money? For 4 derby games. That's how we get the money. You wouldn't get the 4 derby games. That means there's less money going into all these teams, and then suddenly you've got to split it around more teams. There is a genuine argument that an 18-team league wouldn't be successful. But I still kind of back it because I just get bored playing the same teams 4 times every year.
I'll get this sort of weird hobby that if a team gets absolutely scudded, I like going onto their forums to see what's happening. So I went on to Hibs after we scudded them at Easter Road.
Aye.
Other teams really don't like us, and us and Rangers. I mean,
Of course they don't. They want rid of us. I
I
don't know why. They've not got any fucking
I
brains.
know they call us the 2 cheeks, that and the
Aye,
ugly.
aye.
That's really a weird part of the ugly stepsisters.
Aye.
I don't get that at all. But
I just do what, honestly, if we move to England one day, if it ever does happen, I cannot wait to see the reaction for all these mob that don't want us up here, because it's going to suffocate this game and it'll be gone.
I could say something really controversial, and it's about the Super League. I think teams like Celtic and Rangers should listen. They shouldn't
Jump.
They shouldn't automatically say no. I think they've got to look within their best interests.
I get what you're saying. That's a completely different podcast in itself. We'll talk about it one day, because I'm not, don't put words in my mouth, listeners, I'm not saying we should do it, but I think there's a genuine conversation for Celtic that it could be the best idea, but it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
in regards to
that's
Kieran's,
definitely a summer talk.
in regards to Kieran's question, what changes would you make? I think 20's plenty is the first I'd go to.
Massively. I think definitely. The fact, I was sitting speaking to somebody was at Mark and said the fact that we can charge £33 for the likes of Livingston and such, like, and you're not seeing top quality football at that point, you're seeing anti-football. It infuriates me so much, especially the Bayern banner that had the other night, €70. Like, come on, the fuck.
Baffling. That's the first I'd say out of 3.
I just thought of something. Mandatory grass pitches.
Okay.
If you don't, you should get a deduction for every game that you play.
Fair. I
could
get
do that. I
that.
seen it was like something that was just like a wee clip, and it was very like the NFL, and them pushing massively for grass parks.
Yeah.
Because they've said, obviously, you see it in the Astro Parks, players like they jolt their knee or their ankle just sticks.
So mind every time when Siminovic was here, mind it was every game can he
I just couldn't play an Astro Park.
I think he played about 2 games after his injury.
Aye.
And that was just out of necessity.
Aye.
It's just Astro Parks need to be out altogether.
So that's 2 things.
What game was it? Was it the Hearts? It was a Friday night game. It was Hearts were playing Hamilton Accies at Hamilton's Park. It looked like an amateur game because of the pitch.
It's terrible.
It's an absolute disgrace.
Cal, have you got me and Ryan have suggested ones? Then it comes to your mind. I think they're the 2 kind of obvious ones.
I think the 20's plenty is a massive, the biggest one for me. Massively. I think as well, see, even if it's something as simple as like the way it is over in Germany, if you've got a match ticket, player travels free that day. Also, if you aren't on like a supporters bus or such, and you are solely relying on trains and that, I think it should apply to that as well.
That's a good one. That's a good shout. Obviously, that comes into like
I think it's even
government and stuff as well. But
you look at our home games, you got 60,000. You got a fair amount of tourists coming over and that after here. So obviously,
Irish
for them to be able
to
get to the ground, also they're either asking 100 in one directions or they're having to jump a taxi.
Aye.
Much easier if you say get this bus or this train.
You're on for free.
Got another one, but it's for the domestic cups.
Right.
The incident that happened with Livingston last weekend with no VAR just shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That it should be mandatory. If you can have VAR, it should be mandatory.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to help the teething issues.
Oh,
I don't really agree with the whole teething issues thing. It's been about in other leagues. That's what Ange said.
Aye.
If you've got was it 2 top flight teams that were?
Yeah, there was 2 games that never had it. There was the only places that had it last week were Celtic Park and Ibrox, was it no?
That's a disgrace because that's different rules.
Aye,
then.
exactly. It makes no sense. It's
there's
like
got to be-
you'd be may as well playing two different competitions entirely at that point.
You'd be as well just not having it. You either have it in every game or
you
you don't.
I
Everywhere that it's accessible.
I don't think it should be in the cup competitions. Full stop. Maybe the what's happened there.
I'll power off.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, I'm quite annoyed that the camera has rudely interrupted our flow. The camera would have cut out at some point during the podcast. I don't know what. Sorry that if there's been no camera footage for 5 minutes or so, but we should be back in business now. I think we'll be fine. Should only be a couple of minutes at most that's missing.
Shout out to the people that stayed for the audio.
Oh, aye, shout out to the people that stayed for the audio only. I'll put something on screen saying camera is coming back. But
Need that please stand by, you know, the bit in Joker after he shouts about
I don't know what point it would have cut out at or what we left off at we were talking about there, but basically
Livingston Inc.
Livingston in the VAR. Aye, get your VAR sorted. We'll move on to the next question now, but we basically covered
that now with the shorts. I stand by the shorts. Wear shorts, whatever. Where are you, please?
that's a shout at Kieran.
I stand by it.
Aye. Right. Anthony Devine, could Seacrest overtake Hart as number 1 next season? No. Okay.
He's a number 2.
Nah, no through it's like.
Right.
I think we should be looking for a young goalkeeper or some. Young goalkeeper doesn't even mean 21, 22. That could be a 26, 27.
Yeah, exactly.
Kovacevic.
I wish, mate. I wish. Maida's glasses. Do you think you could convince Dyson Maida to get on the Bucky on Trophy Day?
That guy loves Maida, by the way.
No,
Absolutely loves him.
I think Maida would like Bucky. You know what?
He's a funny guy, isn't he?
No.
I don't know. Did you watch the Valentine's Day?
Aye.
You didn't watch that,
Nah, I
no?
didn't see it.
I don't know if he's a very serious guy.
Yeah, it looks it, but it just looks like he looks like Agent 47. Like he's an assassin.
We hitman.
Aye, Callum, if you were to take a fine.
Right.
If you were to take a guess at what he does drink, what would you say?
Don't know. The Japanese whiskey.
I was going to say whiskey in the rocks.
Japanese whiskey is lovely. Could you imagine that? I'm cutting out a bottle of tonic, but brilliant.
Right, Billy's asked, and we should answer this from now. What should they have for his dinner on Saturday? McDonald's, KFC, or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Yeah, there you go.
I like a
Easy
Burger
enough.
King from time to time.
Yeah.
See, there's a bit of a problem in Coatbridge just now. The McDonald's in Coatbridge is closed for refurbishment.
Oh, is it?
So, but that has a knock-on effect if you're a Just Eat driver, because everywhere else is busy. Like Burger King and KFC are within about 300, 400 metres of McDonald's.
Aye.
Like, Coatbridge is a very fatty place. We've got a fast food. We love our fast food over here. But it just means everywhere's absolutely stacked.
Right.
But McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Especially with a Grand Big Mac.
Right, let's fly through as much of these as we potentially can. If you could bring 3 XLs for the last 10 years straight into the starting 11 against Aberdeen, it would be it's a length. I do like that, Mark. But we'll ask it again next week because we've got a quiz that I want to try and get through.
Got a pish I'm busting for.
I can see your legs shaking there.
I'm not dancing, but I'm the same.
You done a push before you fucking came in.
No, I wasn't. Fucking flat my head out.
Oh,
I actually
right,
had the hat on, but still wasn't doing it.
Right. Stuff about Awata. Who's the worst looking player to play for Celtic? Johnny Hayes.
Well, the flood's up there, isn't he?
Lee Griffiths. Can you talk about an hour for how Boss Ange is? Oh, well, we usually do that anyway.
That's the whole podcast.
And the last question, what is your Tesco £3.40 club card meal deal? Mine, his is a Hoisin. Is that how you say it? Hoisin? Hoisin?
I thought it was hoisin.
Is it Hoisin?
Maybe, I don't know.
Hoisin, duck wrap, McCoy's Thai sweet chicken crisps, and a naked mango smoothie. I'm not into smoothies myself personally. I used to, as a former Tesco worker, I'd have to change mine up every break because I'd get sick of the same ones. So I've not really got a go-to anymore. But if I was to go in right now, I'd probably get a packet of flame grilled steak McCoy's, a sweet chili chicken wrap, and a bottle of Coke Zero. There you go.
Not a meal deal, person.
Oh, it's not a meal deal, man. I saved us some time there, Callum.
Sweet chili wrap.
Same wrap. Nice.
Salt and vinegar McCoy's and Imebrew.
Nice. Quite similar.
Basic, but
Quite similar.
Can you get a can of Monster for your meal deal?
I think
Yes.
you can, you can.
Aye.
Because I've relapsed. Sorry, guys. I mean, this is just a prop.
Oh, I never knew.
Dissertation season.
I never knew you had that. They one of your sick patterns all over the fucking place.
I think my delve back into energy juice was I went on a stag do.
Are you drinking body Red Bulls?
No, I was just absolutely knackered. I couldn't sleep because I was so excited to go on a plane to get away. I hadn't been away in about 3 years. So I only had an hour's sleep, so I was like, I need to wake up here because we were going for a night out.
Right.
Had to have a radio. Loved it.
Yeah.
Not looked back.
Cool. Right, okay, he's ready for the final quiz. We'll try and fly through it because Cam's about to piss his drawers here.
You'll get the quickest answers I've ever done.
Right, okay. Right, so we've got the quiz set up here. Ryan, I'll let you choose if you'd like to go. Well, none of you's won, actually, so Ryan, player A or player B? One or two?
I'll let Cal go first.
Okay, so Cam, you're player A. You ready?
Melon ready, mate. Melon ready.
So I'm fucking ask the questions.
Hopefully there's no questions about waterfalls.
Right. Callum, who scored Celtic's first competitive goal of the 22-23 league campaign?
That's this season.
Aye.
Welsh.
Correct. Stephen Welsh. Ryan McGinley. How many goals have Celtic scored so far in the league campaign?
Oh, Christ.
If you've
Surely you must
104.
No, not in the league, not just in the league.
On the league.
Just
That is
in the league.
104 in all comps, isn't it?
I'll let you have another go because you thought it was all. I mean, you should listen to the question, but do I'm for
95.
No, but what were you guys saying?
I was going to see if he gets it within like a certain amount.
Well, he's fucking miles off anyway.
Why would it be
78.
It's almost 78.
78.
That's a very exact
78.
answer.
Right, okay.
It's a big day now.
Player A, Callum Craig. Linfield reached the oh, this is new. I forgot to say very quickly. This is new. Kieran has made this week, right? He was like, I'm bored. I'll make one. So Kieran's made it. It's not just Celtic. He's added in other bits of football world,
Wow.
English. He's changed it up for just so there's a bit of flavour and we're not running out of questions. You know what I mean? So, Callum, Linfield reached the furthest stage of the Challenge Cup this season of all non-Scottish teams, but which League One side defeated them 2-1?
What the fuck's even in League One? Oh, so it's League One Scotland.
League One Scotland. Aye.
Fuck knows. Falkirk.
No.
Can I
Do
tell
you know, Ryan?
I watched the Sam North video on it and I can't remember.
It's Celtic Hearts.
So it was.
Celtic Hearts.
I watched that
When they
video.
got that
Right.
run for Cindy.
A
It's all
chance-
penalties, I think, they
a
get knocked
chance
out.
to equalise. Since the introduction of the pyramid system in Scotland, how many sides have been promoted into the SPFL thus far?
So Motherwell didn't because he beat Rangers. I'm going to go 3. It's 2 in it.
It's 4. But you said Motherwell there, which makes me think you misunderstood the question. But you weren't far off anyway. But you think of Premiership. Because SPFL. So it was FC Edinburgh, Cove Rangers, Celtic Hearts and Bonnie
I was
Rink
thinking of the
Rose.
playoffs and the championship.
You've got to start listening to your questions, son. That's 2 in a row, mate. That's 2 in a row.
See, to be fair, I was thinking along the same route.
No, the
This
SPFL.
Super Bowl has killed me staying
Right.
up for that.
You, Callum Craig, to take the lead. Scott Brown took Fleetwood Town to the 5th round of the FA Cup for the first time in their history. Who did they play in the next round?
Next round.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
I know this.
I
Why
don't.
on it?
Who's even still in at this point?
Have a hat, just a guess if you need to, mate. Silence. The man who needs
I
a
think he's
piss.
going to get it too.
I genuinely don't. 'Cause my head's blank. I just don't care for the FA Cup.
Aye. Just get a team. Go any team.
I don't do that, please.
I'm trying to know who's still in it. Roughly.
You're going to be pissing your pants if you don't want
I
to.
know, but see, at this point, mate, it's worth it. I'm kidding. Hey, fuck knows. I don't know if that's after.
I'm really living in fear here.
You're not getting it. You're taking too long. What's the answer?
Burnley.
That's
Where have I
correct.
got that?
Right.
I'm going to say Bolton.
Ryan, you could have took the lead. No, you could take the lead. Who are the most successful club in the North of Ireland Premiership?
I can't take the lead. I didn't get I didn't get any questions right.
Oh, you didn't. That's right. Who are the most successful club in the North of Ireland's Premiership following Linfield?
Linfield.
So the second most successful, really.
Is it Cliftonville?
No, it's
Patrick.
Glentoran.
I was going to say that.
Glentoran, 23
That's
time
no, not
winners.
play for them at one
I
point.
think so. Right,
Big belly.
Callum, to cushion your lead this time, can you do it?
This is a terrible quiz, isn't it?
Who defeated Dundee United in the 83-84 European Cup semi-final? I even know they were in the semi-finals. No offence, Dundee United.
Could never have
Jim
told you.
McLean.
Go, give us a team. Any team.
Galatasaray.
No. Ryan?
Something random.
I was going to see the Barcelona Bayern Munich.
Roma.
Because they've
Roma,
got a 100% record against Barca.
That's right, Roma.
Do they
hang
love
on,
that
David.
stat? Don't
Aye.
they? That and Motherwell winning the Copa del Rey.
Right, Ryan, can you get one right,
Can I get one
Ryan?
right?
Can you get
Aye,
one
I
right?
hope so.
Which country has hosted the European Cup final the most times?
European Cup fair. Spain?
No. It's Italy, 9-time hosts.
How many?
Nine?
You won't have that one yet.
Aye, no, I will not. And right, Cam, you could win it here. You could win it. You could win it. Are you ready?
Please put us both at him as
Georgios Yakimakis joined Atlanta United for the upcoming season to replace Joseph Martinez. Which MLS side did Martinez
Why
join?
didn't I pick A? I would have get
Jim, I
most
don't
of
know
these.
this.
Once again, just pick an MLS team, mate, on you go.
She's left that one. DC United. Can I tell you?
Ryan.
Into Miami.
Inter Miami is correct. You could have had like
Still
4.
not careful.
Aye. Right, Ryan, this is your chance. Your
To
only
get a question
chance.
right.
Aye, and then with Calum's only got one.
These were-
Have you only got one right?
Yep.
So it's 1 out of 9. Right, Ryan, Gabriel Barbosa, the goal winner.
Gabby goal.
That's the correct answer. There you go. That's the answer. The answer to the question is what's his nickname. So there you go. Our most
Right.
common
Absolute football manager. Legend.
Gabigol is the correct answer. The question was what's he most commonly known by? Gabigol. There you go. So we need a tiebreaker. We've got a tiebreaker, and I'll give it to the person who gets the closest. So, how many players have played at least one competitive game for Celtic this season? Callum.
28.
Right. Ryan.
I'm going to go 24.
Well done, Callum. Craig, you've won. The correct answer is 30. So,
I
30
think it was
players.
as
There
many,
you
yeah.
go. Thank you. All the players have been loaned out and left and all the rest of it.
You've players as well. Aye.
Yeah, yeah. So 30 players. Well done. Right, Callum's busting for a piss. We went on for a while. Good night. Cheerio. See you next week.